What's up, everybody? Hey, Greg. Thanks for coming into the room, buddy. First attending. It seems like since you are first, Greg, let me know. I gotta shut this auto thing off because it's driving me crazy. Hold on. Take that off there. Let me know if you are hearing me, okay, Greg. If not, I could put a mic on. If not, I'll just leave it at the way it is. So let me know if you could hear me, okay. So basic guys, what we're doing here, this shouldn't be a very quick one. Did my last session, I did a sharpening session where it lasted a little, it was actually pretty cool. We sharpened up, actually this guy here, this was a Wakizashi from Jakku. It was what the hell was it? Sanmai. It was a Sanmai construction blade. We sharpened it up to a crazy ass edge, and then we did some cutting on it. And then I had said at the end of that live that I would also follow up and do some polishing up of the blade, because after you do reviews and do your cutting and all that stuff, you obviously left with a lot of blemishes on the blade, a lot of scratches. And you know, when I do my reviews, I'm trying to cut many different types of materials, so you're going to be left with a lot of blemishes, a lot of staining. And you want to, you want to keep your blades looking good. You want to keep your blades, keep the hamon and everything lustrous, and you want to have your shit shine and look good after you cut with it, or after you do your reviews and stuff. So when you show it again, the blade looks like it's supposed to look. So I do have a blade polishing session that I wanted to show you here. I don't know who's going to come into the room. I'm probably going to get started with this now. Eyes open. Thanks for coming in, buddy. You were in the room when we did the sharpening session. I had said that we would do some polishing sessions as well. So I'm going to get started with it. Hopefully people start filing in. So what we have here is two swords. First sword we have is a Dragon King Autumn Leaf. Now, this particular sword, I just finished up a review on it. I didn't edit it. I just finished up the footage for it, where I did a lot of cutting with it, and I really beat the crap out of this thing. So there's a lot of blemishes and scratches, and I was cutting into pumpkins and stuff like that. You're not going to see it on these phone cameras, but there is a lot of blemishes and stuff like that. It looks okay. It's catching a lot of my LED lights. You see the purple there, but the edge is good though. The edge is good. The edge handles itself well. It did take a couple sets because I really did a lot of crazy stuff with it, but it did handle itself well. I did bend it back a couple of times, so ultimately it's not too bad. It's actually still a very usable sword. It's no problem, but the edge is fine. But I was cutting into tatami. I was cutting many pumpkins, water bottles with all the chemicals in the bottles and stuff like that, and it left a lot of scratches and residue on the blade that I wanted to kind of try to get out. So I'm going to be polishing that up, and also the Sanmai construction sword, Wakizashi, that I also did a review on, and it's got a screaming crazy sharp edge. If you guys remember, I put like a 16 bevel on it here with the workshop, but this also needs to be kind of cleaned up a little bit. I wanted to clean up the edge. Unfortunately, I wish I could actually, next time I do this, I got to do this with a better camera, because I don't know if you could actually see like the surface before and after, but believe me, it's going to look a lot better after you polish it. But let's close this thing up and let's start with one of them. How's everybody doing though? Otherwise, are you guys hearing me okay? Is the audio coming in okay? Is everything fine? Let's get rid of this. Resetting a katana? In which way to reset, bro? As far as what, taking it apart and putting it back together and keeping everything tight? That's just yeah, I could do that one day. I'll take it apart and show you how to basically take it apart and reset it. Yeah, I could do that, if that's what you mean. I'm trying to see if you can see the nastiness on this blade beforehand, but it's hard to see it on this camera. You could probably see a little bit. All right, so this is a live. So I don't know who's going to be coming into the room. I put in like a schedule for like a half hour or so, not too long. Let me see something here. I got an alert for something here. Okay, I got to get back to that. But let me show you what you need, what I do in terms of the polishing up my blades. Okay, so what we have here to start, you got to have alcohol. You got to have the rubbing alcohol, not the high, like the 91, the 71, or whatever. The regular rubbing alcohol is fine. What you want to do is before you do anything with your blade, you want to take the alcohol and really spread it through the blade and make sure that there's all the gunk is off as much as you possibly could. Because when you do the metal polish, you don't want to have any oils or anything basically on there. What's up, Eric? So what we're doing here is we're spraying the alcohol on it, really smothering with the alcohol, especially when you're doing the polishing job. You want to really make sure you clean it as much as you possibly can. And alcohol is probably the best thing you could use because it also dries up and doesn't leave wetness. And it'll really take off as much as you can off the blade. And this has a lot of gunk on it because, like I said, I just finished a review and I did a lot of pumpkin cutting. And you don't realize how much acidity and residue pumpkins leave on it. Even after I put the alcohol, it's still not coming off. So that's why I know there is definitely some staining on the blade from the pumpkin. Pumpkins are fun cutting, but they make a damn mess, and they really make a mess of the blade. And depending on the pumpkin and how much acidity it has on it and stuff, it really stains up the blade really nasty. So, yeah, I definitely want to clean this up before I actually finish up the review on this and just show the blade a little bit better on the video. But I even showed on the video how nasty it was outside. So I wiped this down with the alcohol. That's exactly what I did. Okay. Armored Sweatpants, thanks for coming in, buddy. All right, so we have this all completely alcoholed up. All right, so now that's clean, it's dry. Now, there's a lot of metal polishers out there, and they all generally do the same thing. Some may be a little bit better than the others, whatever, but if you find a polish that works for you, I have personally, I use the Mother's Meg and aluminum polish. Okay, we call it Mother's Meg in the online with the YouTubers and stuff, sword people. We all call it Mother's Meg. That's what we call it. Here it says there's no shine. There's no shine like Mother's. So I have been using this thing for many, many years. As a matter of fact, this same container has been lasting me many, many years. So that's probably why I haven't tried anything else, because I've been using this a long time. And damn, it has a very strong pungent scent. As soon as you open it up, it fills up the whole room. But this is a metal polisher. Now, the nature of what a metal polish does, just so you understand, when you're polishing up a blade and you're rubbing this stuff over it and you're doing it the way I'm going to show you how to do it, you're initially basically, and then when you start rubbing it off, what you're doing is you're taking a microscopic layer of steel off the surface of the blade. And now it's very minute. I know, Eric, I know you use it. It's very minute. It's not anything that's ever going to be noticeable. I mean, obviously, if you did it 24/7 for a month straight, it's going to, it's going to start seeing some metal diminishing. But if you're just going to do it a couple of times in the sword's life, it's not a big deal. A couple, even more, it's not a big deal. But what's going to happen is if you have any surface rust, if you have any surface scratches, not the deep scratches. The deep scratches really, that's a special polishing job. You got to send it to a professional polisher to really get the deep scratches out. But if you have like general surface scratches, general grime or staining, like from cutting pumpkins and all that crap, the acidity, all the acidic stuff when you're cutting the fruit and the vegetables and whatever you're cutting, fruit, if you're a fruit ninja out there, and the surface rust is a big thing too. If you have surface rust, as long as it's not deep embedded rust, you spread the Mother's Meg on it. It'll take a nice film off where it'll take that surface crap off of it. And what's going to happen is you're going to be left with more of a better surface blade where you have more of the shine back. It actually shines it up a little bit. It'll even give you a better shine or a better luster than you had to begin with for the most part. It may affect the hormone a little bit, not much. Again, if you do it over and over and over again, you'll see probably hormone kind of getting affected a little bit. So if you're worried about having a very expensive sword, and if you have like a very expensive Nihanto, I wouldn't recommend doing this yourself. I would recommend paying the money and going to like a professional sword polisher to bring up the luster of the blade, because they'll do it the right way. But if you're just a cutter, if you're a background cutter, if you're a reviewer, if you're just an owner of swords and you cut with your swords and you just want to get rid of the gunk or rust or staining or anything like that, like I have on this Dragon King Autumn Leaf after doing the review, metal polisher is pretty much the way to go. Now, it's not bluing. You got to be careful you don't get the bluing, because the bluing is different. The bluing gives you a forced patina. This is a metal polisher, and it polishes out all of the stuff on the surface of the blade. So that's pretty much what it does. Let me just go back to the chat. Where can you get a real lightsaber? You gotta talk to the Star Wars people, my friend. White dots on your, yeah, this is potent stuff, man. You got to be careful how you use it. Acid etching is fun, but we're not acid etching. We're polishing up. We're doing the opposite. The best method to remove the frosted hormone on Hanwei and Dragon King. I'm not sure what your point is there. Where's a good place to get the Mother's Make? You can get it on Amazon. I will get you the exact link. I'll get you my associate's link at the end of this live. I'll put it in where you can get it. I'll get you the exact link, and they give you this bottle or a bigger bottle. But this bottle is only about, I don't have my eyes on, 11 ounces. No, how is it? I think it's about 10 or 11 ounces, I think it says. And this has lasted me for a good 4 freaking years so far. I mean, given I don't use it all the time, but whenever I need it, it's there, and I've been using it a great deal, probably around 4 years. So this lasts a long time. That's why probably I haven't tried any other polish. All right, so we basically alcohol the blade up. We made sure that's all clean. We have the Mother's Make. Keep the alcohol because you're going to need it again. Now, this is the key element of how I apply this. Okay, pay attention. I get a toothbrush. Make sure it's not a toothbrush you're going to be using again. You don't want to be using this toothbrush. You have to use it on the Mother's Make. All right. You don't want to metal polish up your freaking teeth. It's not going to be good. So this is a toothbrush that is not being used as a toothbrush. I use it and I designate it in this bag. Okay. I name it for just applying the metal polish. Now, what I like to do is I take this brush, and it's a really easy way to apply it. Because any other way to do it with the nappy and stuff like that, it gets sloppy, it gets messy. This, you're kind of really brushing it into the metal. So that's how I do it with a toothbrush. White vinegar, acid etching. Yeah, the acid etching is a different ball game altogether. No, I've been coughing. No, I didn't. I've been coughing. I actually got a dry throat. I need something to drink. So basically, I use the brush. I'll show you what we do. I'm going to try to get like a better view here if I can. Vertical is a pain in the ass. We're getting a better view, but I'll try my best. So here is the blade. Now, what we want to do is we dip the brush. Try to get in frame. We dip the brush in there. We just get basically a light coat on here just to get basically the surface of the brush. You don't have to put a large amount of it. And then what we do is we try to keep away from, when you put the Mother's Meg on here, you try to keep away from the edge, because what happens is, you understand, it is taking metal off the blade. So you want to keep away as much as possible from the edge, the actual edge. You never want to put it right on the edge. You want to try to keep it away from the edge as much as possible. Of course, it's going to get on there a little bit, but if you could avoid it, it's great. But the Munet, the bohea, the spine, you can smother that all up, because that's where all the scratches are. But try to keep away from the very, very edge of it, okay? So you don't take any metal off your point or your edge. I'm just reading something. Right, the Mother's Meg is good right after the acid etching. So if you're doing acid etching, you go to the mother's make right after, because that's pretty much part of the process. We're not acid etching right now. We're actually using the mother's make to polish up a used blade that has scratches and stains from fruit, from pumpkins on it. So that's what we're doing right now, surface scratches and stains. But if you want acid etching, mother's meg is definitely part of the ingredient that you want to use after you do the acid etching to take off that layer there and bring up the luster and the shine, and the acid etching will work. So that's pretty much the key ingredient. But that's what, again, we're not acid etching, we're polishing up right now, okay? So here's the mother's meg, and we basically just do something like this, guys. Let me actually see if I can get you guys a little bit closer. Hold on. I don't think I can get you closer now. I'll just point it down a little bit. Maybe put some light on here. Okay, so basically that's what we're doing. We're basically just putting it right here. We're rushing it on, trying to keep away from the edge as much as possible. You're also going with the spine. If you need more, definitely be generous with it. You may not see the rest of my blade because I can only show you a portion of it on the phone. But you see what I'm doing? See how it's getting all white? I'm just basically just brushing it all up. And then obviously you go to the other side as well. Go to your point, go into the bowie, go in the spine. You want to keep it even because basically as you do this, you don't want to have any other portions of the blade that are shinier than others. You want to keep it as even as possible and still trying to keep away from the edge. I know it's a lot of things to think about, but that's what you got to do. Because you want to keep an even layer of metal that's going to come off the whole blade for the most part. Just hang this off of the table a little bit so you guys can see what I'm doing. All right. Actually, probably made this an edited video. I do have an edited video polishing up because you got to wait until I finish up the whole thing. Whereas with editing, and it's not live, I could have just cut it up and it would be less time to watch it. But this is pretty much the process. This is a live process of polishing up the blade. Now, you don't have to go all the way to the front because there was no cutting here and it's still pretty bright there. Because if you go too close to the habaki, then you're going to have that gunk going underneath the habaki, and that's a little annoying, But see how I'm doing it? Basically, all just covering the whole surface area of the blade. And I find that the toothbrush really is good as far as getting it on there. Toothbrush, I always just use a cloth. Gonna try. Yeah, the toothbrush is good, Eric, because it really, you force it onto the blade. You're brushing it onto the blade. It's almost like it's extra stroking onto the extra pressure or friction of forcing the cream onto the blade. That's how you're doing it. It's like that. You're brushing it on. See, I go over and over and over it. And it's also a great way to spread it. You also waste less napkins. And I just find better result doing the brush. And you can see basically how I'm really, and you also have a lot of control of where you're brushing and where the cream is going. You're trying to keep away from the edge, and that's a great way to do it by using a brush because you're not really directly going onto the hot or the edge. You're just dealing with the spine and the sides of the blade itself, okay? All right, so even after it's done, guys, I still go over with the brush, and I really just get it in there. I just force it onto the blade and get it right on there. I found that this is the best possible way to polish up the blade by using a brush as opposed to using napkins, because I was using napkins before, and I find from trial and error, this is definitely the better way of doing it. Now, you can see also there's black on the brush because what happens is it's already taking off some metal, Shinogi Zakuri, yes. It's a Shinogi Zakuri. It's a nice blade. Actually, Dragon can make some good cutting blades, man. They really do. This was a good cutting blade. This thing did a good job. And I was very, very aggressive with it on purpose because I wanted to see with even misaligned cuts. I was just very aggressive cutting with it. I wasn't worried about basically hitting my stand. I wanted to really be very aggressive with it to see what it could take. And the edge handled itself well. It did take some sets, and I was able to bend them back, and it's fine. But the edge is fine, and there's nothing dislodged. Everything is still tight. This sword did a really, really nice job. So I want to show you. I want to see if I can show you here. Can you see that it's all white? I don't know if you can tell. It's all white. Okay, everything. The whole metal blade. You can see actually from the front from the Habaki. You see it's not on there, but you can see the rest of it on both sides is all completely whited out. So what I like to do is I like to keep it on there for a little bit, and I like to let it sit for a couple minutes, and that's a good way for me to also try to do my other one at the same time, which is the Sanmai. Well, that one is kind of the Mother's Meg is sitting on there, metal polish is sitting on there and doing its thing. I'm able to kind of do this one here. So now again, what we want to do is take alcohol, spray it on there, and really try to get any surface oils or fingerprints or anything on there, and make sure you're starting with a very clean surface before you apply the Mother's Meg. Okay, so here is the Mother's Meg again. See if I can show you a little bit better with the Waki. Okay, so now the Waki it's a beautiful blade, Sanmai construction, folded material, folded, and the hamon and all that. It's gorgeous. But there are some surface scratches from doing a review, so I wanted to try to, I always, I knew that I wanted to go back and take off the staining. I think I even see a little bit of rust on it because I didn't take care of it as much as I should have after I did cutting. So I knew I wanted to go back and really try to get do the metal polish after and this is the one I sharpened it up to like a 16-degree bevel, and this thing came crazy sharp. That was the last review that I did. The last live that I did was that. And a couple of you guys are in the room right now. You joined me for it, and this thing came amazingly crazy sharp. I also did some cutting with it on the live. Yeah, Rick, you would be impressed. This thing came extremely sharp. I did it with a workshop on the live. My fingers are fine, man. My fingers are fine. My fingers are nowhere near the blade, brother. Don't worry about it. That's why I'm using the brush. So this way, it's also a safer way of doing it. Keeping it away is doing the top, doing the point. Okay. Brushing it in. And that's it. That's all you pretty much need to do. And then you just let it sit. I let it sit for about 10 minutes or so. And then I kind of take it off. All right. So now I have both blades basically all polished up. And that's it. Now you can do extra passes if you want to do one pass and do another. I've never found a reason to do a second pass. I mean, probably you could use a second pass if you want to dry it up and do it for a second pass. If you're really that particular and you want to really do a second pass, you can do it. So you should be fine as long as you clean up and start with a clean plane like I did before. It is possible. All right. So again, we're not acid etching if you're coming in late. This is not acid etching. We're just polishing up the blade. Okay. So now I have this blade here is the Dragon King. This has all of the cream. It's all on there. It's all white. Okay. From putting the polisher on each side, keeping away also from the edge. So we kept this on there for probably, I usually do 10 minutes. It was probably a little less than 10 minutes, but since it's alive, we're going to try to keep this going. Got to have a lot of towels, a lot of good, absorbent, strong towels. Okay. Let me see what Eric is saying. On the Raptor. Yeah, thanks, Eric. I mean, like you said, listen, you told me the same thing, brother. You have to practice and you have to get good with it, and you have to find your own way to make it work for you. And it's trial and error. You find out what works for you. What works for you may not work for me. What works for me may not work for you. Everyone finds their way to kind of be to get to have the process work for them. If you use the workshop the right way, that workshop basically does wonders. But it's just a matter of the feel, the steadiness, and just having your hands where they need to be in order to keep the edge and the profile even. But yeah, I think I'm pretty good at this point where I can get a very good sharp edge and keep the edge retention there and be able to take care of my own blades. As far as doing it for other people, I'm not that comfortable with it. I do it though for Scab. If I send him knives, I'll hold things up, I'll sharpen things up. He's been happy with that. For the most part, I wouldn't do it like you professionally. I'm not comfortable there yet. But yeah, I think at this point, I think I'm pretty good. I'm pretty comfortable with the performance I'm getting out of my sharpening. I also try to keep it at a maximum around 16 in terms of the bevel. I don't go anything lower than that because I don't want to make it too brittle. And depending on what I'm cutting, 16 to 18 is pretty much my range. All right. So let's wipe this off. So what we want to do is, like I said, you need some good absorbent towels. Okay. These are like some of those really strong towels. They got thickness to them. They're soft, but they're thick. That's what you would definitely want to use. Now, pay close attention to what happens when you do this. So now you take it, you start from the top, guys. Okay. And you basically just rub firmly, but be careful of your fingers. Always keep the point on your finger side away from your palms. Okay. Never have the point by your palm. Okay. Always keep the point away, pointing that way. All right. So be very careful to point. If you're rubbing it this way up and down, nothing's going to happen to you. You just got to be careful not to slip, and you got to pay very close attention to what you're doing. Okay. So you go up and down, rub the metal polish right into it, and bring it all the way up to the point. Now I want to show you what happens, okay? Take a look at that. That is the metal, okay? That is the metal that's coming off of your blade. That black residue is the metal, okay? That is what's rubbing off your blade, okay? So now you turn the napkin over and you keep on going. You got to make sure so you stick your fingers into bohe and really get it out of the bohe as well. Take a look at what I got here. Yeah, a little improvement already for the most part. But again, it's not going to, if you have deep scratches, it's not going to help the deep scratches. It's going to give it the general luster and take off a lot of the light scratches, and also the rust or any of the staining, it'll take off, Shout out to Jenna. Hold on. I can't read that. Genitals. All right. Shout out to genitals. That's what I'm doing. I don't know who you are, but Jenna, here's a shout out for you. Okay. Coming from your boy here, the one and only Nicole. Actually, your girl, probably the one and only Nicole. Shout out to genitals. Quacks. Why have Katana when you do and don't do? Why to have Katana when you don't use it? Who said I don't use it, brother? I'm cleaning it because I do use it. I just finished up with a review. See, the problem with these shorts is, guys, you guys plug into these shorts, but you don't realize there's a whole channel attached to these shorts. I don't just do shorts. I do long form videos. I do full, in-depth, high detail katana and, bladed weapon reviews, long form. And there's a lot of work that I put into them. It's not just a short that I'm doing. So you can't assume that I don't use my weapons. I don't use the katana. So I'm cleaning it because I did use it. Okay, so now what you have to do is, as you're doing this, you have to look at your napkin. So now I've been rubbing this for a while. So now this is the last stroke I did. You see there's no black on it. So now you know that it's kind of cleaned. All of the residue is off. Now what we want to do, next step, very important, is to take another clean towel. And now you have to go back to your alcohol friend, okay? Here's your alcohol. and you want to put your alcohol on there again, get a clean cloth, okay, and really rub it in, okay, rub it in, and really get, now look, with the alcohol, look, there's still more black and metal that's coming off of there. So even though you didn't have it on the napkin, the alcohol does wonders at cleaning everything off your blade. Alcohol is a must, okay, as far as cleaning your blade after cutting with it, after using the metal polish, after acid etching, after everything. You need to have a good, get yourself a little spray bottle and put alcohol, always keep alcohol filled in there, man. You know, spray bottle is the way to go, Eric. Spray it right on there. See, I'm all about control. I'm all about control. That's why I use the brush. That's why I use the spray bottle. I'm all about controlling the stuff that I put onto my blade. And the spray bottle, I have control. The brush, I have control as far as the polish. It's all about control. It's a controlled experiment, okay? So now I'm going to go back with one last stroke. Make sure you get all the pieces of the blade, back to front, point. Okay, so this is the last one. You notice how it's basically white. So you know now the blade is pretty much completely clean. Now, it's hard to see it on this thing, but it's glimmering, man. It's definitely a much cleaner blade. There's none of that residue on there from the pumpkin. And the surface scratches are pretty much very light for the most part. And it looks a lot better than it did before. So this is a big improvement on this Dragon King. And it's ready for me to kind of finish up my review because I like to have a prettier sword when I actually physically talk about the sword. So I finished it up after the cutting, and now I'm going to review it, and now it's all cleaned up. So there's your metal polish for sword one. You want to take it. Well, obviously, what we want to do is oil this up. We're going to oil this up before we go to the, probably before we close it. This is the Wakizashi. Let me see what we got. No, there's no steel that you have to avoid putting alcohol on. There really isn't. Alcohol it's safe for all steels. I haven't found any problem, even any types of carbon steels, any type of stainless steel, knife steels, pocket knives. I use alcohol on every single one of my blades. I don't find any problem with using alcohol on any type of steel. The weight of that Dragon King is about 2 pounds, 6 ounces. It's pretty light. And it's a 12-inch Suka, and it's a 27-inch blade, 5160, I believe, differentially hardened. And it's it's about 2 pounds, 6 ounces, exactly what it is. Alcohol will not make your sword rusty. Alcohol will avoid you making your sword rusty because alcohol dissolves on your sword. It doesn't leave any lubricant. It actually dries up your sword and makes it not rusty. What you want to do is not to make your sword rust after you apply the alcohol, is to apply oil. And that's how you make your sword, you know, kind of rust proof or avoid rusting. So alcohol does not make your sword rust. You're wrong. I'm sorry. You're wrong about that. I've been using alcohol on my blades forever, and it does not make your sword rust. Okay. Here is basically the metal polish on here. You can see basically the white residue. Again, you take a clean cloth and just rub it right into the blade, up and down until you really get to the point, and then you basically come off the point. So you basically take, you're forcing the cream right off of the blade through the point. Okay. Try to get every piece of it, the back, scrub the back. Again, keep the point away from you. Keep the point that way, not on your palm, because you're going to cut your hand off. So you want to basically be very careful. What you do is pay very close attention to it and really rub right into it. Again, let me show you what's on the napkin. This is the metal coming off of the blade. Okay, it's like a black powder or something like that. That's the metal that's coming off the blade. So now we want to turn it over, and you want to keep on the rubbing, and you want to see basically until you have the least black on the blade from rubbing it in. Now, by inspecting it, I'm seeing already it's a lot cleaner than it was before, because this thing was, I think it even had like surface rust on it. A lot better. And the Hamon is actually more lustrous. The Hamon looks good. It doesn't affect the Hamon as much as you think it is. Actually, it makes the Hamon a little bit more prominent doing the metal polish. And let me know if you agree with me, Eric. I think it makes it more prominent. Of course, in time, it'll take it off if you take enough metal off, but it takes such a minute amount of metal off that it's okay. Try to keep politics off of here, guys. So I'm sorry. I got to delete that. Alcohol with vinegar and water, my friend, will acid etch your blade. I don't know what you're talking about. You're talking about a totally different thing. If you replace alcohol with vinegar and water, what you're doing is an acid etching. And I'm not acid etching my blade. I'm just cleaning it. That's it. I'm not looking to acid etch my blade. If I was acid etching my blade and I would use vinegar, I would use lemon oil. I use a lot of different things and then use alcohol to clean that off. But we're not acid etching right now. We're just cleaning the blade. Before and after I do the metal polish, you want to make sure you clean the blade. And alcohol is the best way to clean the blade because it completely dries up the blade. Doesn't leave any moisture on it for it to rust. It completely takes everything off, all residue, any dirt or grime off of it. And it does a great job as far as taking the metal polish off. Okay, so you see there's still a little bit of black on it, so I want to put a little bit more alcohol on it. But you guys just don't worry about the alcohol. Believe me, it's fine. And really just try to rub it right on there. You see it's still a little black on there. Yeah, you want to get to the point where it's clean. It's like the blade is completely clean. And you have no black residue on the napkin. All right, so that's pretty damn good. I think it's clean. And here is, again, metal polished, wakizashi. Looks absolutely beautiful. I wish you can actually see the Hamon. Leave the polish mother, and it looks exactly like cleaning an etch when cleaning. Well, the acid etching is it's a different process. The acid etching is basically just bringing out the Hamon. It's an extra basically step as far as going chemically trying to bring out the Hamon. The polisher is just basically taking surface scratches out and it just polishes. It polishes up metal and makes it more lustrous. That's pretty much what we're doing. So here is the final result on the wakizashi. I'm trying to get you a light that you can see it better, but it does look beautiful. Definitely no surface rust or anything on there. You can see how the Hamon is very prominent. It looks gorgeous. This is a Sanmai construction. Of course, there's some the deep surface scratches on there. You can't remove that. You could use Mother's Mag over and over again. It might work if you do it a lot over and over and over again. But I think I'm happy and content with the fact that it's got the lustrous shine, took out any surface rust that was on there from what I left maybe from cutting with it. And it looks a lot better than it looked before, and that's pretty much content. Now, you use it according to your liking and whatever your needs are. If you want to use it over and over again to really get some of those deeper scratches, you can use it over and over again. Thank you, buddy, and I appreciate it. I don't mean to be mean. I'm just trying to, I'm here to basically try to give you the best information I can, and I've been doing this for years now, and I've been using alcohol on the blades. I've been using this Mother's Mag, the brush. I'm trying to give you whatever I can to try and have you try to use the same processes and get hopefully good results in taking care of your blades. I also have shown basically how to fix loose koiguchi or loose fitting of the sword and the saya in there with Gorilla Glue fix, and you can find that on my catalog, and that's helped a lot of people. So I'm here for you guys. I'm not here, I'm here to give you the best information I can, and hopefully you can use it and take it and it'll improve your work, your maintenance on your blades. Okay. Yeah, after about 10 minutes, I left it in there, and it's good. It's beautiful. I find I'm just looking at it in person. It looks a lot better than it did before, and the hamon is good. Nothing is basically affected from it. It looks gorgeous. It really does. Now it's a matter of just basically putting oil on it. So if you guys want me to put oil on it in front of you, then we'll do that. What you want to do is with your brush, you want to take one of your used napkins, right? What we do is you basically spray alcohol. I use alcohol. I'm an alcohol freak, guys. Spray alcohol on the brush, take a napkin, really just brush it right onto the napkin, get all of the surface mother's milk off of here, and you could use this brush over and over again. You don't want to store it with the cream on there because it's going to harden up and you can't use it anymore. And you don't want to be using a brush after brush after brush. So you want to make sure you wipe it off with the alcohol, you clean it, you really just rub it onto a napkin and get all of the surface cream off of there. So it's nice and clean. You take a Ziploc bag, put it in, store it, and you could use the brush over and over again. I think I've used this brush probably around 20 times already. As long as you don't have cream on it when you store it, it's not going to harden up, and you can use it over and over again. Always tighten up your bottle. Never leave it loose. Always a nice tight fit, because with exposed to air, this stuff will dry up as well. And I've had this for over 4 years now, and it's been 100% good. 11 ounces. I'll leave a link to the Mother's Mag. All right, so let me get my oil. This is my oil box, guys. Vodka is good afterwards. Vodka is always good afterwards. So basically, you have the powder. You could use the powder thing, okay? Basically, that comes with the box. I basically just use, that's what the metal polish roller does, is pretty much what this thing does. I forget exactly what it's called. But this you kind of pat onto the blade, and it has like little stones, and then you rub it off, and that kind of does what the metal polish does. But the metal polisher works a lot better than that. That's why I don't even use that anymore. Okay, in this canister here, I have mineral oil. Mineral oil is pretty much my go-to as far as oiling up. I also use gun oil sometimes, but the mineral oil is pretty good. I keep it in a bag that keeps it soiled, okay? Take it in, and just basically just take it, and I use like a cleaning cloth. This is like a eyeglass cleaning cloth. It's nice and soft, and it's very absorbent, and it basically keeps the oil on there, and I just rub it right on. Try to get a better view here. Just take it, hug it, watch your fingers, keep the point away from your palm, do the munet, do the bohi if it has it, do the point, and that's it. And it's all pretty much oiled up. Take it right from there, put it right away into the scabbard, all oiled up and clean, and this thing is perfectly ready to store, okay? Now let's go with the Katana, the autumn leaf Katana, which actually this I am not going to oil up actually, because I'm going to be finishing up a review for this, so I don't need to oil it up right now. It's all alcoholed up and it's clean. So I'm going to keep this away. I don't need to store this and oil it right now, because we're going to be finishing up a video on this autumn leaf. So that's basically it, guys. Rice oil cloth is good. I found that I don't know, this just has been working a lot better for me, Eric. I just basically take this cloth here. See, it's a cleaning cloth, very soft, and it absorbs the oil, keeps the oil on there really well, and it really hugs the whole blade, and I don't have to use rice cloth. I just keep on using this over and over again. When this gets too dirty, I wash it in the sink, let it dry, and I've been using this again for over 4 years now. And basically I take it, I put it in a Ziploc, and sometimes I'll take oil and then put it in there and kind of just move it around and make sure that this thing is completely soiled with the oil. And all I need is a quick film on it, and that's it. You know, that's pretty much what I use. So that's it, guys. So I've been on for about 45 minutes. I hope you guys enjoyed it. That's how basically I polish up my blades. Mother's milk, brush, plenty of napkins. Alcohol is key ingredient as far as cleaning it before and after. Make sure you get all of the black off of there because you're taking the metal polish off. Clean it to the point where the napkin is all white and there's no residue left, and you know you have all of the metal off of the blade. And then finally get the alcohol and rub it all over and just make sure it's all completely clean. Oil it up with however you use it, whatever you use to oil up your stuff. I use mineral oil. It's cheap. It works. I love it. Gun oil is good too. There's a lot of different oils you could use. Even WD-40 is actually pretty good too. And that's it. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it. And I'll see you on my next video, autumn leaf video coming up. I got a knife video coming up from Swags, Savannah Swaggerty. So that's going to be edited soon. And I got a really good sword coming in from Shadow Dancer, which is back here. I did an open box, so that's going to be worked on. There's a lot of work I'm going to put into that because that sword is absolutely drop dead freaking gorgeous. Absolutely, Eric. I agree. Like I said, you got to find whatever works for you. Eyes open. Everyone that came to the room, appreciate you guys being here. Enjoy the rest of the day, you all. And tune into my videos. If you're not subbed, a sub and a like goes a long way, guys. So please try to get me a sub. If you're not subbed, and leave a like on the video. That kind of stuff really helps to build my channel. So I really appreciate it, guys. And I'll see you in my next video. And I'll see you in the comment section. Have a good one, guys. If there's any suggestions you have as far as you want me to do, like taking apart a sword, resetting it, like eyes open, I think you wanted it, let me know in the comments, and I'll definitely do it for you as well. Have a good one, guys. Peace out. Ciao.